Hey, y'all. Thank you. We're going to do this again, connecting the dots. And I just thought of something I wanted to share with you. It's kind of cool. It's about me. And I think you can use it to help you connect some dots. A long time ago, a couple of decades ago or 3 decades ago, we were going to buy some property, but I began to understand how to see in type and shadow, how to understand God like he speaks to you in things and situation and people and how you can put them all together so it makes total sense to you. Well, anyhow, it was it was an ordeal trying to get the land, but he told us different things from the scriptures, and so one of the things was it was you're gonna laugh at this. It was funny, but I'm really glad I did it because I had something to look back on. Long before we found the land, God had already told me some things. He, just said, you're going to find land, da-da-da-da. And he gave me exact information. I wrote it all down, and I kept it. I kept it for nearly 10 years before it even began to manifest. I kept the notes that he told me. So anyhow, we got the land, and we closed on it. And so I was real busy that day teaching, and I had schools and all kinds of stuff. So I couldn't get around to going out and just blessing the land and thanking God for how awesome we got it. But he'd give me the scriptures, a bunch of them in Deuteronomy. I'm going to lead you to this land, and it's going to be a blessed land. And one of them was, he said, I'm going to lead you to a land that flows with milk and honey. So anyway, my day was so busy that day. And I thought, man, I got to get out there and just offer that land up to the Lord and just tell him how awesome it is. And so I want to take communion and stuff. So anyway, it was 11 o'clock at night. It was freezing cold. It was so cold. And so a couple of friends, and we all got together, and I went and looked in the refrigerator, and I thought, oh, my goodness, like I got some milk. I got a little bit of milk, but I don't have any honey. I got to have honey because what I was going to do was bring an old milk churn from way back when we had some on the farm. And I was going to offer up milk and honey as a love offering to the Lord. Just like he said, I'm going to lead you to a land that flows with milk and honey. So anyway, I talked some people into doing this crazy thing. So we climbed through the fence at night. And like I said, it was so blooming cold. And so but I didn't have any honey. So I'm calling around at 11 o'clock at night. Can you imagine? Anybody got any honey they'll owe me? I got this thing I want to go do. So anyway, I borrowed some honey. So we came out here. Oh, it was a beautiful night. It was clear and the stars were shining. It was awesome. And so we came out here to make this dedication, and we were taking communion, but we also had this little bit of milk, and we had this honey. We had this old milk, churn. We actually made butter out of it way back. And so we did our dedication and everything, and people laughed. They said, that was so silly, Ginger. And I said, well, I just think I might need to remember that someday because I think it's going to be a little bit difficult getting all this land paid for and all the stuff I want to do out here. And sure enough, I was right. So going back and connecting the dots, it was amazing because as years went on, and it was hard. And so we were getting through trying to get the land paid off, trying to get a barn built we could live in, and all that stuff. And as we rocked along down, that milk churn that I had, guess what? Somebody decided one day when we weren't out here, we didn't live out here to begin with on the land, and somebody stole it. And I was like brokenhearted. I was like, I can't believe that came out of my family from years ago. Who would want to take my milk jug, Anyway, so years rocked on by, and one day we were just having a prayer meeting. I built a house. This is not too long ago, maybe 4 years ago. And so a friend of mine from another state, they had cows, and they had milk cows, and they had a farm where they produced milk up north. And so they came that day, and they said, well, we're just in town. We want to come to your little prayer meeting. And, oh, yeah, by the way, we have a gift for you. And I said, what? You brought me a gift all the way from up north? And they said, yeah. And I said, what is it? And they had brought me a milk churn, an original milk churn from their farm. And I looked at that and almost disbelieved because I thought, somebody had taken that item, and then God laid it on these people who doesn't even live here to bring me an original. It was kind of beat up and it was old, but it was so precious to me. And so when I looked at that, I thought, wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. God is saying it looked like the enemy stole something from you, but the one that I had out here that night was about this big because it was just for a family. The one they brought me, I still have it, about this big. It was huge. And he said, I just wanted you to know, connect the dots. Look now. And it was interesting because he made sure that I didn't get the big milk churn until after the lamb was paid for, the house was built and all that. Isn't that amazing? It looked like Satan had taken something precious from me that meant something special that night. And yet God said, no, I'm showing you that I know how to restore. And I don't know, y'all might think that's silly. It wasn't silly to me because it was so deep on the inside. So sure enough, I got this big old milk churn in my living room. And so I just need to tell y'all some stories sometimes of how God has taken things and he's connected the dots with many years in between. I guess it was 25 years or something in between from when this all started until I actually got this big milk churn from a real milk farm. Isn't that amazing? I got one more I got to tell you, too. It's really cool. So I had some cows coming in, and a friend of mine came out, same time the cows were going to show up. And so this friend of mine, Sharon, she said, oh, I was just out shopping today, so I decided I was going to bring you some corn on the cob. And I said, oh, okay. So I just said, put it in the refrigerator. I didn't even think about it. And so while she was doing that, then the cows got here. And so they were unloading the cows. And this time, they're cows that are breeding cows. So they were unloading the cows. I said, how many did y'all bring? And so they brought 7. I didn't think anything about it. So somebody else came up. Another friend of mine came up. And they said, Ginger, do you realize that you got 7 red cows? And I said, well, yeah, I guess I did. I wasn't really thinking about it. So we went inside, and Sharon said, well, Ginger, guess what? I said, what? And she said, well, I bought you 7 ears of corn. Connected out. Got it? The story of Joseph, corn, and cows. And so I was 7 ears. Why did she go buy me 7 ears of corn? And then they brought me 7 red cows. And so don't you know that spoke, that was several years ago. Don't you know that spoke to me? Because I was like, okay, when it looks like things are not working, like when it looks like I don't have 7 years of prosperity, then I'm like, okay, I go back and I remember and I connect the dots. And I'm not telling you to do silly, crazy things, but God will do those things sometimes when you're like, but he'll show you from the written word. You can take scriptures and he will show you. He said, I'm just making sure that it's confirmed on the inside of you that I'm doing these things. He remembers. Maybe we forget, but he always remembers. If you learn to connect the dots, that day when I got those cows and that corn, and that day I got that big old milk churn, well, I was a bucket of tears because I was remembering how faithful my Heavenly Father was being to me in a secret way that was so special to me. People didn't know what I'd prayed. They didn't know what I was thinking. They didn't know what I needed. And yet God moved on people in a certain way to bring something to me. But I had to connect the dots. And don't you know that I'm telling you this story today? If you learn how to do that, God will always have some surprise for you, some way, something. He will bring something and go like, this is the scripture I told you to stand on. This is what I told you. It was going to happen. This is how it was going to happen. Well, maybe it was 20 years. Maybe it was 30 years. What if it was 40 or 50 years? Or what if it was 15 minutes ago? But he said, I want you to know that I am confirming and proving to you, if you can begin to connect the dots and keep up with things that I'm doing, I'm showing you how much I love you. So we're moving into this time and this season of Thanksgiving. And I know Thanksgiving can be a hard time for some people, but it can be a good time if we offer up to Him the sacrifice of praise. Sometimes on our part, it's the hardest thing to do is praise during a hard time, but it's offering Him something. He does not need our praise. We need to praise. And so we begin to look back at these things. Don't you know sometimes when I walk outside and I think about those cows and that corn, well, sometimes I just let out a yell. I start speaking in tongues and I just start screaming and praising God. I think, Jesus, you're like major cool. you know what's going on in the inside of me. Doesn't that help you? I hope it encourages you because what? We're getting ready for even more connect the dots where God is transferring things to us, restoring things to us, bringing things back and showing I knew the whole time. I was the one that was wiping the tears from your eyes. I was the one that cared. I was the one that was in there right there that whole time, making sure that I beat the living daylights out of the devil for you so that you could see that I really loved you. Anyway, I just thought I'd tell you a couple of stories. Y'all, people like ginger stories. And if you like the story, let me know. Make some comments and like and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Y'all get ready for a wonderful time of Thanksgiving for what you do have and for what God is going to do in your life. God bless. You know, one of the most amazing things we have in America is the American farm. I think this is awesome that we've had farmers all these years and ranchers. And so I want to talk to you about my friend Sandra. She has Fern Valley Soap. It's amazing. It's 5 generations. And so what they've done is they have these goats and they milk them. And when they do, look at all these products that turn, can you believe that, out of milk and a goat? She has been able to do it. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my goodness, you're gonna love it all. Look at this. This is a special package she has for Christmas. You can get this and you can send it anybody, any of your family or friends or anybody. This is perfect Christmas gift. You don't have to do anything. Just buy it, they send it, and your shopping is done. But you'll love the products that's in it. I'm telling you, this soap is awesome. It smells wonderful and it feels great on your skin. And so then we have right now, she's doing something really special for harvest. Isn't that exciting? So look at all these. Look at this, man, there's chapstick and there's all kinds of stuff in here. And then we have like hand soaps and we have something brand new. I want to share this with you because I'm just learning about this. This is called Perfume Mist. Listen to this. I laughed when I heard this. Pumpkin cream pie. Does that sound good? When we were all talking about this, they were going, yum, yum, yum. Anyway, so she has that. And then one of the things I really want to highlight that I think is going to be wonderful is she started doing this, and this is called Amber Alert soap, and it smells awesome. But you know what she's doing? She is taking all of the proceeds from this particular soap, and she is helping. This make you want to cry, I'm telling you. She is helping all those, not just teenagers and kids, and even women and men, people that have been in these horrible, negative, distress situations. Do you know how many, who knows how many thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people being caught in a really bad situation, and now they're just, they need to be freed. And so she's going to be blessing different organizations and ministries that help these people to get free. Isn't that cool? So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that if you get any of these products, any of them, and you tell her Ginger Code, guess what? You get even a bigger discount. Isn't that cool? I don't know about you, but we need to be doing our Christmas shopping right now. Right now. Remember, just think about all the kids and everybody's running around doing all this harvest stuff. This is perfect gift for right this minute. And it's not a gift that you just use up one day and it's gone the next day. This soap lasts and you have all these products in there. So would you really help me? It's time now for us to start supporting and to help, especially somebody that's doing something like this with this Amber Alert. And I know this lady, her and her grandkids, I can't even imagine getting up 5 o'clock in the morning and going out and milking a goat so that I can produce these beautiful, wonderful gifts that's blessing you and blessing your friends and your family. So you want to support her, but make sure you say Ginger Code and you get a bigger discount. So God bless you.